Hi there. This time I'd like to talk about education. Now, education is a primary function of democratic government. First, because it is a human right and government's job is to secure human rights. But also because an informed and educated citizenry is a necessary condition of democracy. And because government has a responsibility to manage the economy. And as technology evolves, the economy requires ever more well-educated workers. Now, this education must be universal, it must be high quality, and it must be integrated. Young Americans should be encountering people from all segments of society and beyond. It's necessary to build a democratic society which minimizes racism, xenophobia, and class hatred. They gotta know each other in school. Now, before Ronnie Rodeo's reactionary Republican revolution, we were moving in the right direction. Education was free for all for the first 12 grades, and inexpensive colleges and universities were available to most. The quality of education for the majority of American citizens was improving greatly, and our schools were becoming ever more integrated at every level. The education system here in the United States was the envy of the world. Other countries sent their brightest students here to be educated, and they emulated our system when designing their own. This is no longer true. Our education system is bad, and it's getting worse. How could this come about? Well, before Ronnie Rodeo's reactionary Republican revolution, our government emphasized expanding human rights and the need to develop the potential of each human being. We believed in investment in human development and funding the future of this great people. But Ronnie Rodeo introduced a contrasting set of values. For the last 40 years, the emphasis has been on diverting funds from human development to subsidize corporations and aristocracies. There's been a change in focus from improving human minds to controlling human behavior. Federal funds are being diverted from public education to private schools for the purpose of enriching corporations and aristocracies, and also to divide society, creating unequal opportunity and animosity within the citizenry. The planning time frame of our government has been dramatically reduced from multi-generational human improvement to short-term economic growth. Now, it seems like every time I talk about Ronnie Rodeo's reactionary Republican revolution, the discussion boils down to we changed the direction and started going in the wrong way. Now, that's because that pretty much sums it up. It's time for a counter-revolution. The education system in the United States is going in the wrong direction, and we need to reverse it. We need to fund it, fix it, and make it fair. First, we need to fund it. Privatization is a waste of money. Education is primarily the job of government, and although much of the control and management of a school system should remain local, the only way that we can fairly and adequately fund our education system is using federal dollars. The present system of local funding, usually using property tax, not only leads to unequal education, but increased geographic segregation. Both are bad. And we need to invest in our educators. One of the most important jobs in our society requires the very best, brightest, and dedicated practitioners. We need to restore the high status that teachers once held in our society, and we need to reinforce it with high pay and high quality training. Education must be free, and all students must be able to acquire as much education as they need to pursue their individual dreams. We need to invest in our future. We need to invest in our democracy. That's funding. In addition to funding it, we need to fix it, and we need to make it fair. To fix it, we need to re-examine the purposes of education. Our system needs to produce informed and curious citizens of our democracy. It needs to prepare young people to be productive in our economy, and it needs to develop each individual's personal and artistic communication and expression, and encourage entrepreneurial genius. To do this, we need to train our children and youth to collect, connect, and communicate. Train the senses to collect raw data and ideas from other humans, past and present. Train the brain to connect ideas and observations in the process of building its own special way of looking at the world. And help each student to develop communication skills so as to share her or his unique ideas with others. Now, education begins at birth, and governmental responsibility begins at birth. Our government needs to assist new parents attempting to provide a rich environment for infants in the home, often while balancing 2 or more jobs between them. And of course, daycare must be free for all. And by the way, daycare, which is not warehousing, but the first stages of education. We need to fund it. We need to fix it. And we also need to make it fair. Although, for the most part, equal dollars should be spent on each student, provisions must be made for special needs students. And I also believe that funding should be 15% higher for each student below the poverty level. Equality needs some balance. Schools must be required to employ any practical means to maximize integration. And when I say integration, I don't mean just racial integration. I mean ethnic, economic, religious, and anything else I may have neglected to list. Our democracy requires it. America is only great if the American people are great. And the most important single initiative for making Americans great is to fully fund our educational system and fix it and make it fair. Now, this is not the only video in which I discuss education. I would especially refer you to my video, Funding the Future, which is part of my 9-point agenda for counter-revolution. Those and all my other videos are available on your friendly neighborhood internet at www.daffwold.com. Thank y'all for your attention. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope you'll join me again sometime.